Newfoundland, we've got our Gorham campus. Gorham is a really lovely town, but it's a little bit sleepier than Portland because it's town rather than city. There are miles and miles of walking and biking trails in Gorham. It's really green. I'm trying to think of a good comparison for you guys. Portland's definitely not as big as Springfield. Springfield's a lot bigger. But it would be like probably for you guys having a college campus in a small Springfield and then coming to a Holyoke-ish area being Gorham. So that's kind of where we are. Our residential buildings are currently located in Gorham. So for students like yourself, you're coming from a little bit of ways away, you would at least be considering living on campus, right? You'd be living on campus in Gorham. And either using your car, because you're welcome to have a car all 4 years back and forth between our campuses, or hopping on our bus line that specifically goes back and forth every half hour. And that's really easy to do. So our students kind of get the best of both worlds, a little bit sleepier town and then also the city, which is fun and offers a lot of really great opportunities for internships and things like that. I have a really, really broad listing of majors. We offer a lot of different things. My top majors tend to be more in the sciencey side of things. My health sciences major is one of my top ones. My engineering program is also one of my top ones. I have electrical and mechanical engineering. And then my business program is really strong. So those are like numbers-wise our top three. My nursing program is smaller in numbers, but it's probably my most popular program, and that's really strong. I have a really strong school of music, really strong education program, and then some cool majors that I think are fun and we do get a fair amount of interest in are our environmental science program, our criminology program, we've got a political science program. So you can kind of get the idea. There's a lot going on. And the benefit of a school that offers that range of majors for you guys, especially as juniors, some of you may already have an idea of what you want to do. Can I quick, do people, yes, I have something I want to do, or no, hands down, not really sure? Okay, a little bit of a mix. So if you know what you want to do, you have that listing to go through and see, what we offer, see if things suit your needs. And then there's a lot of related coursework to support whatever that major is that you're interested in. So for example, if you were looking at my health sciences program, you might major in health sciences, but you might get a minor in exercise science, or you might just take classes in exercise science, or biology, or even environmental science, or something like that. You know what I mean? Public health. I have a public health major as well. You can take some classes in public health. So your major would still be, your degree would still be in that health sciences, and that would be the majority of the coursework that you're doing. But because we have a nice, long list of majors, you get to kind of pull from those other areas and supplement your education, supplement your degree with those. And most of our majors we do have related kind of fields that you can dig into there, which I think is fun. For those of you who do not know what you want to do, you are completely welcome to apply undeclared. That's totally fine. Don't stress about it. In order to get a degree at USM, all students have to do our core requirements as well as those major requirements that are specific to the degree that you choose. Our core requirements allow for a lot of flexibility because they're topical. They're like, so I have a core requirement, it is called sociocultural analysis. I have one that is called creative expression, science exploration, things like that. So they're not specific classes, they're topics that you have to satisfy using a range of classes. So if you know you're really science-based, maybe you're really English-based, maybe you're really math-based, you're going to be able to satisfy those requirements choosing classes that appeal to you. If you're a student who's coming in undeclared, you do not know what you want to do, or maybe you're coming in on a major that you think you might like, but you're really not sure, you have time with those core requirements built in at the beginning to mix and match a little bit and try some things and figure out without quote unquote wasting your time. You don't want to be paying for classes that aren't going to help you towards your degree. You get some experimental time built into your degree anyway to satisfy those requirements. and check out what might be interesting to you. Another thing just generally about all of our majors is that at the undergraduate level, going through your first 4 years, your bachelor's degree, every single one of our programs has an internship or field experience component built right in. So that's something that you can count on. It's not going to be handed to you on a silver platter, and it's not cookie cutter. Like, not every business student does the same internship, but the opportunity is there for everybody. And our professors are really used to working with students. If you think about it, every single academic program has this. It's very common. We have career and employment hubs on every single campus, and they're there to help you work on this stuff. So the idea is that you 100% graduate from USM with some career experience under your belt. That will also help you guys figure out, even if you know what you want to do and you're trying it out, or you don't know what you want to do and you're using that experience to help you figure out what you want to do. Those internships, getting your feet down on the ground, kind of with some kind of employment experience, can be really, really informative, even if it's, I don't like this thing. When I graduate, I'm not looking for this thing. That's great information. Okay, so this is a fair amount of information that I just chucked at you at 9 a.m. in the morning. Do we have any questions? Can be miscellaneous about anything that I just shot at you. B, do you have certain majors that you guys are curious about that you want me to either confirm that we have or share more information about? Mm-hmm.
What are your most popular majors at your school? You want to say that again? Yeah, she said the broad areas. You want specific majors? Okay. With the most popular majors at the college?
Sure. What I mentioned actually were the specific majors. So we have a health sciences degree. That one's it's one of our top 3. My combined mechanical and electrical engineering programs are also in our top 3, and then our business management program. Within my business program, I have a lot of different concentrations. International trade, risk management, just general management. There's a lot in there to look at. It's not just straight up, general management all around. So if you guys wanted something in particular, you can look on our website and see where those concentrations are. But those 3 are probably, numbers-wise, my biggest programs, like most popular that way. And then, as I mentioned, it's a smaller program because we have to limit our spots. But my nursing program should be up there. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about the nursing program?
Yes, thank you for asking. Is anybody else interested in nursing? Just one, okay. So, as you might find with other schools, nursing at USM is a little funky in terms of the application process. And I give you permission to just call it, nursing is just a little bit funky. So keep that in mind as you're looking at schools. It is a program that often has its own requirements. In my case, it even has its own deadline. So if you are at all interested in nursing, even if you're pretty sure you're going to go health sciences, but you think you might do nursing, please do yourself a favor. Make sure you really check the schools that you're applying to, check their websites, check their requirements for nursing, to make sure that you're in line with those requirements so that you don't get missed out in terms of consideration. That being said, at USM, my nursing program has a deadline of February 1st. So you'll need to make sure that you have your application in by that date. Even if you decide to change your major later, if you apply after February 1st, we will not be able to consider you for nursing. It is a very strict deadline. My academic requirements are pretty simple, but again, we're very strict about them. So you need to have a 3.0 GPA, and forgive me guys, I'm not going to remember off the top of my head on this Tuesday morning. Are you guys, when you get a GPA, does it look like a 4.0, 3.0, things like that, or is it on a 100-point scale?
No, it's
4.0? Perfect, so you guys will know what I'm talking about. So we need a 3.0 or higher, and then we need an average of Bs in your science classes. Specifically, Bs are better in your biology and your chemistry classes. So if you guys, especially actually right now, I'm glad you guys are juniors, you're thinking about nursing, and you do not have either bio or chemistry on your transcript, please talk to your counselor, see if you can get that on your transcript for us. If there's any questions, if you're thinking, okay, I'm either not at a 3.0 or I don't have that class, but I have a class that's really similar or something like that. Different schools call them different things. I have a lot of schools that call biology life sciences and stuff like that. Just chat with us, let me know, so that we can take a peek and give you some more information, or at least put our notes on your application. This student has life sciences instead of biology, good to go, that kind of thing. So those are our requirements for nursing. Again, they're just a couple of requirements, but we're really strict about them. We used to require SATs or ACTs for nursing. It was the only program that we required those test scores for. We do not require them anymore for anybody. They are completely optional. Any questions about the application process for that program? Okay. In terms of the program itself, you will get into clinicals pretty quickly. It's usually your second year, if I'm not mistaken. And we have a lot of locations, a lot of hospitals right nearby in Portland. Maine Med is the big one. A lot of our students do their clinicals there. And in the clinical experience, you will get experience. You'll be placed in a couple different areas. It kind of rotates. So you're not doing the clinicals just on that one floor or one unit or something like that. It's going to change so that you get some very varied experiences in there. And our students usually report back, so that's pretty good. We do have nursing programs at the graduate level as well. So if that's something you want to go for your Bachelor of Science in Nursing, but you want to go further and get your master's as well, we have master's programs that you could be involved in, or at least just know that our professors in that department is extended through the graduate level as well. And there are resources there that you might not have because we go all the way up to the graduate level. Questions about that? Beauty. Okay. Other majors that we're curious about.
Can you just talk in general about any specific courses you recommend them taking in their senior year, especially if you have certain majors that are going to require courses outside nursing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that answer is really pretty simple for me. My nursing program is really the only one that has those funky requirements, which is why I use that word funky with nursing a lot, just to burn it into your brains. If you're interested in nursing, you got to pay attention to the directions. So there aren't really any special classes that we're specifically looking for your senior year. I would say in general, we want to see that you are knowing that senior year, everybody got a little bit of touch of senioritis. We understand that, but when I see a student, when we get your application, let me start over by starting. You get your application, we're looking at your freshman year, we look at your sophomore year, we look at your junior year, and we look at your senior year, whatever grades we have there. Even if we don't have grades for all of your classes senior year, we ask your counselor in the guidance office or the school counseling office for your classes all the way through the end of senior year. So we're going to look and see, what is this student lining up to do senior year? If you are in kind of, good academic classes, regular classes all the way through, and then senior year, I see that you're in, especially if you're not applying for music. This example is going to be a very bad example if you're applying to my music school, and I apologize ahead of time. If I see that you've taken nothing but like triangle classes senior year or something like that, and you're applying for my math major, I'm going to be a little bit worried. I might give you a call and say, hey, what's going on? If you've taken, so make sure, even though I know senior year is hard, you guys are going to be tired, you're going to be so ready to graduate, make sure that you're still taking classes that are relevant to the field that you want to go into, and show us that you're capable of taking on that workload, kind of. Does that make sense? Okay. And again, that's a really terrible example. If you're interested in music school and you're applying to our music program and you have music classes your senior year, that's excellent. Well done, you. So really, we're looking for the requirements that the state requires for graduation. You've got to take an English class every year. We like to see students go through Algebra 2. If you've got a math class past that, that's awesome. But we're really looking for Algebra 2 there. Those are really our requirements. We don't require language. Some schools do, so that's a really good question to ask. Let me think. Those are really it. And then, in terms of levels of classes, if you guys have AP offerings or IB offerings, or maybe you're taking classes at a local school, a dual enrollment college class or something like that, we would love to see those. We are not ranking you like on how many you have. If my friend over here has 5 APs and my friend over here has 2 dual enrollment but no APs, I'm going to say, oh my gosh, dual enrollment, wonderful. Oh my gosh, AP, wonderful. I'm not going to be comparing you and saying, well, this guy only had 2. So those are good things either way, especially if you're doing well in them. But don't feel like you have to cram in a specific number, at least for USM admissions. Any questions about how we look at those types of classes? Yes, ma'am.
I'm just wondering, okay, sorry, I wasn't sure if that was for me.
No, I'm so sorry.
Sorry. Since they would mostly be on the Gorham campus because they live there, would most of their classes be there, or are there certain majors that they'd be traveling into Portland for?
Yeah, great question. I'm sorry I didn't cover this earlier. So the academic departments are split between the campuses. So your major, my friend in nursing, my nursing department is located in Portland. So you would be living in Gorham, and maybe you'd be working on some of those core requirements if you decided, I'm not going to worry about this multi-campus thing right now. I really just want to get a couple classes under my belt, maybe my first semester. I'm going to work with the academic advisors who help you choose your first semester classes. And you're just going to say, guys, I just want to be informed this semester. That's fine. So you'd be able to work on those core classes and get some of that done. Once you start taking classes in the nursing department, those are going to be located where that department is, which would be Portland. So you'd either be driving your car or hopping on the bus for the half-hour bump over to Portland in that sense. Likewise, you don't have to live on campus at USM at any point in time. And I've got an update about residence halls too. Let me get back to that. You might be living off campus in Portland and coming to Gorham. Same thing. You just get to the bus stop, hop on the bus, or drive your car to Gorham if you had a class there. As I said in the beginning, most of our students do spend some time on both campuses, but it's most usually like, okay, I have a Gorham day today. Most of my classes are in Gorham. I have a Portland day tomorrow. All my classes are in Portland. The registrar will fight you if you try to make a schedule where you're having to pop back and forth multiple times. That's ridiculous. We don't want you to do that. So you'll have to like get in a fist fight with the registrar to make sure to make that happen. They're not going to let you do that for the most part. So usually it's pretty manageable. The other thing that is cool to note, specifically with you guys being juniors, we are building a residence hall in Portland, and we are like so excited about it. It's going to be for upperclassmen, and it will be opening up in 2023. So you guys will be, you may be eligible, it'll probably be your second year that you'd be eligible to live in that residence hall. But that's going to be coming up. It's going to have a student center attached to it. There's a new green space in Portland that's going to be attached to it, like a quad where people can hang out. It's going to be 580 beds, and you're going to be able to see the ocean from the top floors, which is, considering Portland's rental options, pretty amazing. So that's something we're going to be able to offer in a short while to our students. By the time you're no longer a freshman, you'd be able to live in that building. And be in Portland. So for instance, if you were a nursing major, or you were a business major, or my psychology major is in Portland as well. If you were one of those majors, you spent your first year in Gorham, and then you decided, Portland is really where I'm at, that's where all my classes are, I'm gonna put my number in for the Portland risk. We could do that. Questions about how we manage that system or how we have you guys take classes. If you remember those core classes I think I mentioned, you can take them anywhere. Whether it was Portland or Gorham, you can make that happen. Anything else? And if no questions about that particularly, what I'd like to do, and Ms. Riali, thank you for, you're already kind of doing it for us. Are there other areas of USM in general, the college application process, things you're either curious about or maybe anxious about that I can speak to and maybe alleviate some feelings there? We can talk about financial stuff, scholarships, things like that. We can talk about the application process, as I said. I can give you some basic information about our athletics, living on campus, that kind of thing. What is interesting to you guys?
Anybody want to know what certain clubs or sports that they might have? Yeah.
What division are they for sports? What division sports?
Great question. So while we do not offer athletic scholarships, you can either be recruited or you can walk onto the team and try out once you get to USM, which I think is a pretty cool thing. So you don't have to worry about the recruitment process quite as much if you're looking to play sports at USM. We have 22 Division III teams, and then we do have a lot of intramural club sports, things like that you can get involved in if you're not interested in playing at the D3 level.
You guys kind of know the difference between D1, 2, and 3? Yeah, I mean, D3 can be very competitive. They have some different regulations. And a lot, there will be D2 schools that are better than D1. It doesn't mean that they're better. It's just.
Yeah, absolutely. We also have an athletics website. We're the Southern Maine Huskies. So if you guys want to look up the team, we have a lot of information on our website about specific teams, rosters, stats, all of that good stuff, as well as ways to get in touch with the coaches directly, which you're welcome to do. So if that's something you're really interested about, maybe you're considering schools at different levels or different divisions, and you want to ask, kind of what does D3 feel like at USM? Let us know. I can try to hook you up with a student athlete at USM to chat with. Often our coaches are also really happy to connect you with somebody on the team if you're looking at a specific team to say, what's it like, doing this sport at USM? Other things we're curious about.
These guys, this group in particular has gone to a lot of visits, and I imagine it's starting to all blend together.
It does blend, yeah, for sure. Well, I'd like to talk about my merit scholarships, because those are fun, and they're kind of cool at USM particularly. And then after that, I try not to just jam everything down your guys' throats if you're not ready for it or interested. So I would say I'm going to share, Ms. Riali has my email address already, but as I said really early on, I'd be your point person at USM. So if you have more questions, if you felt like Maine and the Portland area are something that appeal to you, we have a major that's interesting to you, and you have some more specific questions, just let me know. I'm really happy to help, whether that's connecting you with a current student, or directing you to more information on our website or something like that.
And just so you guys know where to find her email, and all college rep emails, the calendar where you guys access the visits, their emails are right in there. So if there was something you liked or something you forgot to ask for any college, just go in and grab the email.
Perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm definitely a 3 a.m. person. I remember all my questions in the middle of the night, which is very frustrating. So just feel free to write me an email if they come to you later. So as I said, just real fast, would like to speak about our scholarships. You can also, we have a database on our website of all of our scholarships. So if you're looking, you can find all of that information, including eligibility information, amounts, all of that good stuff on our website. Particularly, I'd like to talk, as I mentioned, about our merit scholarships. Do you guys know what merit scholarships are?
Yeah.
Okay. One person nodded. Thank you, one person. Merit scholarships at USM are based on your GPA alone. No test scores, nothing else, just your GPA. Some schools may wrap test scores in there, so it's a really good question as you're sitting through all these visits to be asking people, if they're saying we're test optional, which we are, ask them, do you use our test scores in financial awards, things like that. Because you don't want to decide to not send in your test scores and then find out that that disqualifies you for some kind of financial aid. At USM, we're just looking at your GPA. So if you have a GPA at USM of 2.75 or higher, we have an out-of-state merit scholarship that is $8,000 a year, and it is renewable all 4 years. If you have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, it is a renewable all 4-year scholarship of $10,000 a year. If you have a GPA of 3.5 or higher, that's our top one, it's $12,000 a year. These may not be like the most massive scholarship amounts that you've ever seen in your life, but again, let me reiterate, you keep them all 4 years. And all you have to do to keep them is have a GPA of 2.5, which at the college level, to give you some context, 2.5 is like basically passing your classes. So you could come in with the highest GPA and get that really high merit scholarship. And all you need to do to get it repeatedly every year is pass your classes. So that's something that's really cool at USM, and the admissions office does those, we offer those. So we're gonna let you know at your time of admission, if you apply before April 1st, which is our merit deadline. And next year when you guys are seniors and you come to my meeting, I'm gonna say all of this all over again at you. You apply before our merit deadline, we're going to consider you for that automatically, don't have to ask. So your admit letter would say, hey, you've been admitted to this major and you've been admitted with this merit scholarship. So right off the bat, you have an idea of what we're offering you, and you can start wrapping that into your kind of estimations of cost and things like that. Any questions about that? Okay. If you guys have been to a lot of college meetings, I'm assuming you have a fairly good handle on the different types of aid, and have you heard of the FAFSA and stuff like that? Heads nodding, for the most part? Yes, okay, great. Any other questions? It can be general as well as specific.
I'm going to ask one about financial aid.
Do it.
For a student who's eligible for full federal financial aid, and gets like your highest merit scholarship from, let's say, somebody out of state, what are they looking at usually paying out of pocket? Are there still usually uncovered costs?
We don't offer complete full ride scholarships, so you'll definitely be looking at paying. I'm not really able to say. We have a lot of, in terms of our, the students who get the most financial aid, including that federal aid, it's broken down into a lot of different components, grants, loans, things like that. So it's a little difficult for me to say what that would look like off the top of my head. However, if you are an out-of-state resident, I can start to give you some totals here, and we can do a little bit of subtraction. So on our website, we have a really nice page that shows you the breakdown of what 1 full year of attendance, not just tuition, would cost. So in our calculation of attendance, we have your tuition, we have mandatory fees, which account to, let's see, it's like $2,000 that are like student activity fees, things like that everybody has. We just bundle them together. So your tuition, your mandatory fees, we wrap in room and board in there, assuming that you're going to live on campus. We have an estimation of books, all of that, wrap it in together. For an out-of-state student, that total is $36,490. So if you have a 3.0 and you get that $10,000 a year merit scholarship, already that's down to $26,000 rather than $36,000, right? And if you have the top one, it's even lower, and that's without any kind of financial aid or federal aid. The merit scholarships and the federal aid are completely separate. So if we give you something in terms of financial aid, and then we also give you the merit scholarship, we're not taking the merit scholarship out of the aid. It's separate, if that makes sense. Does that help you guys?
Yeah, I did some math, I can explain.
Okay, great. And then, you know, as it gets closer to, we're really happy to chat with you if you've applied and we've been able to award you a financial aid package. We're here to chat with you about that. Students at USM, you have your admissions counselor, which is me. You will also have a financial aid counselor specifically. We split students up, incoming students, by their last name. So I can tell you right now, if you tell me your last name, I can look up who will be your financial aid counselor. And that person will be there to get into the really nitty gritty with you and say, this is what you're getting, this is what this looks like, you know, if you know, that kind of thing. I have tour guides, my student tour guides, who still meet with their financial aid counselor every year to do the FAFSA because it's helpful to have that person there with them. So there is a pretty good support system at USM in terms of giving you guys information about your packages once we're able to award them, and you know, kind of helping me explain what that all looks like and what it would be like to pay that back. More questions about the financial side of things? Thank you for the thumbs up in the back. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think they're good.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me. I appreciate it. Probably most people are saying this to you, but bear with the college visits. Senior year, I hope that, you know, your stress levels, you guys are going to be old hands at this. The word FAFSA is not going to make you nervous. You're going to know what you're doing. You're going to know how to check for deadlines and all of that good stuff. You might even know a couple of admissions counselors already who are excited to help you. So good on you for taking the time to come do this, even though it's early in the morning and I know the spiels all start to sound the same. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And yeah, whatever you want them to fill out, send along. I can email it to them.
Sure, perfect. Thank you so much.
And I can, do you want me to
Have a
send
good
you
day, everybody.
Do you want me to send you a list of who attended?
Sure, that would be lovely.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you a quick follow-up email with that information.
Great. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.